Woman gives birth in bathtub and makes shocking discovery. This is the story of my surprise twins. Not like surprise, you're having twins. It was like surprise, you just had twins. I was going to have a home birth and I still had a natural water birth, but wasn't planning on doing ultrasounds. I always measured correctly for one baby. I always only found one heartbeat with a Doppler. I had terrible morning sickness followed by a month of unbelievable migraines that the chiropractor couldn't even help. I can't believe my skin didn't explode from swelling that last month. Toward the end, my midwife thought I might be breech and recommended an ultrasound. Turns out it was a compound presentation, otherwise known as Superman position, not neutral. So I went to the chiro, then immediately went in to get another ultrasound. My midwife warned me she wouldn't let labor happen naturally with a compound presentation, so I was eager for baby to move so I could have a home birth. The second ultrasound of all 4 quadrants and done by a sonographer revealed the baby moved and we were good to go. My midwife originally gave me 16 hours to go into active labor before she would drop my home birth. It got close to 16, and I still didn't want to go in. So she talked to another midwife I had met at the hospital while getting my ultrasound. She agreed to wait for 24 hours, since active labor hadn't come at 24 hours, and she was dropping me anyway. I decided I'd wait a bit longer and went in around 1 p.m. on the 13th. This would be about 30 hours in. Meanwhile, my sister Lindsay didn't think she had enough time to drive the 13 hours and make it for the birth. So, the night before, her dad offered his miles for her tickets. I really needed her. She felt she needed to be here, and we both cried when we thought she might not make it before the birth. I got to the hospital, and as I'm opening the car door, she texts me she's at my house, 20 minutes from the hospital. All at the exact same moment, I had my first contraction. The first nurse midwife I see is this girl Marnie, who was at the hospital. I went to 4 stitches after my home birth with my son 2 years before. She was amazing. It was at a completely different hospital 40 minutes away, and there she was. She was the only thing that made the other hospital bearable. She takes me up and I find out they have a giant birthing tube. They hook me up to the baby monitor. Only one heartbeat. By this time, my sister is here. Midwife Kate had taken the night before off to get sleep after talking to my midwife and finding out I would be most likely coming in the next morning. She was also amazing. When I had my ultrasound, she was the one who convinced my midwife to let labor happen with a compound presentation. Kate had her baby born at home with a compound presentation. So I told my midwife I wanted her if I had a hospital birth. My amazing friend Ashley rushed over to bring me some birthing essentials and information cards, and she saved the day with Clary Sage. By 2:20 p.m., I was having heart contractions. I got in the tube. I wasn't supposed to birth in the tube, but by the time I felt like I needed to push. I was already groaning, and there was no getting out. So I had my first with 2 pushes. I remember my first words were, "It's so tiny." I didn't know the sex yet. One nurse said, "Oh, it's probably the placenta already coming." Another said, "Oh, it's a water bag." I've never seen that before. All the while, I couldn't get any words out. And in my head, I'm screaming, "It's another ring of fire." My second came less than 2 minutes after my first with another 2 pushes, and she was born A.N. Cole. I was just in shock. The staff was shocked, and I wish I had someone taking pictures of my husband because I'm blind and couldn't see his expression. Adam Mays and Billy June, born July 13th, 38 weeks, 4 days, at 2:47 and 2:49 p.m., both 6 lbs. They had the same blood type and each had exactly 3 hairs that were about 3 inches longer than the rest of their hair still had them too. They restarted the machine 3 times to weigh them because they couldn't believe they were exactly the same weight and height. It was beautiful. I'm not even upset not having a home birth again. Everything couldn't have been more perfectly serendipitous. They both passed their APGAR with a 10 by 10, which they say they hardly ever give any babies, let alone twins. We were free to go after 24 hours. No need good time. I happily took an extra day because my insurance covered it. I wanted the lactation support and room service. I think I got a visit from every staff member during my stay. I don't think people believed it actually happened and had to see for themselves. I did have a dream while I was pregnant with them that I gave birth to 2 really tiny baby girls and 1 extremely big boy. Now I have 2 baby girls and a 3-year-old son. Too crazy. It was just beautiful. I will never forget the indescribable feelings behind those pictures. I was beyond happy. We were both so happy, and I think everything happens for a reason. The likelihood of another baby hiding in the womb is extremely minuscule, but it happened. This essay was republished with permission, and I was written by Lindsay Altis. You can follow her journey on Instagram.